Hello, Red Sox fans. Welcome back to Talk Sox. Ethan and Brandon here once again to discuss everything going on with the Boston Red Sox. The winter meetings have just concluded at the time of this recording. It is the Thursday after the winter meetings. The Red Sox, predictably, were not the most active team. Obviously, they made some of their bigger moves already. They traded for Sonny Gray. They traded for Johan Oviedo. They're still mentioned in a lot of rumors for a lot of big guys. So certainly far from done this offseason. But it was a quieter winter meetings. No Garrett Crochet deal this time around. So yeah, I mean, Ethan, I'll pass it off to you. Obviously, there was one trade that the Red Sox made. And obviously some bigger rumors to discuss. So what are you monitoring right now with the Red Sox?
Sure. I first we'll talk about the trade really quick. Vaughn Grissom is no longer with the Red Sox. He is out of Boston, and we traded him for a young prospect that we don't even need to focus on right now. I think once he comes up to the majors, that's when we'll really tell the story there. But again, the thing I'm kind of focusing on, I'll start off with the one that I think everybody's really talking about. Just like Bo Bichette, everybody's looking at him going back to his team of, I don't want to say origin, but his team from last year, the Blue Jays. I think a lot of people are looking at Alex Bregman returning to the Red Sox this coming season. Look, Alex Bregman, I don't think was the breakout, play. Look, he was a veteran, but I don't think he had his breakout of the season with the Red Sox. He was a integral role that
Mhm.
I think helped the Red Sox a lot this season, but he wasn't, I think, what we needed this season. And I think that if he stuck around for one more season, we'd get a good year out of him. So it's really up in the air right now to see if he stays or if he goes. Like we focused on last year, he had that deal where he could opt out at any time. So we'll see what happens with that. Another deal that I'm really looking forward to is to see if Kazuma Okamoto ends up on our
Mhm.
team. Look, I'm always a fan of Japanese players. You and I talk about incessantly on Northside Baseball, Shota Imanaga. I think the Japanese league is just a league of their own. No pun intended there. But look, now that, and I'm very happy to report that Pete Alonso is going to the Baltimore Orioles. I
Mhm.
think that Okamoto would be a great addition to the Red Sox. And Brandon, I would love your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I wrote about this on the front page. This was a rumbling sort of under behind the scenes at the winter meetings from people that I know that were at the winter meetings that the Red Sox have been circling Okamoto apparently as their top Japanese free agent, more so than Munetaka Murakami, more so than Tatsuya Imei. Which is not terribly surprising. Obviously, they've made some of their bigger pitching additions already. And if you know anything about Murakami, you know that he's got amazing power, but he's also got huge strikeout and velocity problems. So Okamoto, I think, especially as a right-handed batter, might actually fit the Red Sox a little bit better. Obviously, he can play first base for them long term because that position's wide open right now. Maybe third base if his glove can stick there. But yeah, I think he'd be a really interesting, marquee pickup for the Red Sox. Obviously, their last Japanese free agent was Masataka Yoshida, who hasn't quite lived up to expectations. Obviously, he's been dealing with some injuries the last couple of years, but he still had some positive contributions in Boston. He had some important hits in their wild card series against the Yankees. So again, I'm dubious that the Red Sox will be the team that wins out in the Okamoto sweepstakes, but I know for sure that they're going to be involved. So that would be an interesting signing. Bregman, you bring up, of course, he was great in the first half, had the quad injury, sort of fell off, as you mentioned, in the second half. Definitely sort of a really strong season, but not quite the Alex Bregman level season that the Red Sox were hoping for $40 million. So, to be seen. Again, at this point, we know for a fact that the Red Sox's top priority is getting a big hitter. Again, first and third base, and even second base remains pretty much open. Maybe Marcelo Meyer takes over the hot corner, which would leave first and second base, but regardless of how that all unfolds, there's clearly a need for a middle of the order hitter, particularly from the right side, to join, Roman Anthony, Jarren Duran, Willie Abreu in the middle of the lineup. So who knows what's going to happen on that front? Again, Pete Alonso going to the Orioles not only makes the division significantly tougher, it also removes a key first base option for the Red Sox. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts right now, but it's important to remember that because the Red Sox sort of jumped the winter meetings and got Sonny Gray and Johan Oviedo, they've already knocked off their biggest need this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I talked about at length through probably the entire season how Garrett Crochet couldn't do everything. I've said it time and time again. getting Sonny Gray was probably the biggest pickup that we needed, and now it's kind of picking up the pieces of where do we go from here. And I think in the beginning of 2025, you and I talked a lot about the Red Sox budget and where we could kind of go with it. Picking up Sonny Gray for the budget that we got him in, we still have money to spend at the end of the day. So I'm curious to see where the front office goes from here because it really could go in any direction.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's, the Red Sox are already, as already constructed, I think are good enough to win the AL East. Now, it's a bloated division. Again, the Orioles have Pete Alonso. The Blue Jays just went to the World Series. The Yankees went to the World Series the year before. So there's a lot going on. But like, as we've been saying, because you have Garrett Crochet and now Sonny Gray and Brian Bayo and Johan Oviedo and all these young guys, the Red Sox don't need to make another big move it would be great if they did. I certainly would love if they signed Kazuma Okamoto or if they traded for Freddie Peralta or something, but it's not a need. It's more so of a, hey, we're in a really good division and our team is clearly set up to win in 2026, particularly if Christian Campbell or Marcelo Meyer break out. So yeah, I would say that ultimately I think the Red Sox are positioned well thanks to what they've already done. But a quiet winter meetings, besides trading Vaughn Grissom, who did not want to be in Boston anymore, uh, besides, outside of a quiet winter meeting, should not influence what happens the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely not. But as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you happy with the moves that we made in a very quiet winter meeting season? Are you excited to see what's going to happen next? If any other transactions are going to be made for Boston in the coming weeks? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, we will be responding to every single one.